Life is hectic.
Some days are just a blur.
We're Jay and Laura LaFoon, and we help busy couples stay married for life.
Welcome to the Married for Life podcast. Well, I think summer's finally here.
Finally here
With
in
flowers
Michigan.
and allergies.
You got a little allergy thing
I got a
going?
little nose thing going here today, but it's
You got a
taken
big
up.
nose thing going.
Hey, that's not very nice. It's because it's a ski slope.
Yeah. Yes, summer is finally hit Michigan. We have been struggling with a long spring, but it did bring
Long, cold, wet.
Yeah,
bleh.
yeah. It's been weird here in the Midwest. But bottom line is, we have done our favorite thing in the whole world.
Got out patio furniture.
We got on our patio furniture. We sit out at night.
For those of you who are listening to this and you live in the warmer parts of our country and get to leave patio furniture out all the time, we don't get to do that in Michigan. We have to bundle it up and store it for the winter so it doesn't blow away or get broken with ice and snow and stuff. So yeah, we put it away, and then that's the saddest day of the year. Then the day we get to get it out, because it's summertime here, we get to.
But the funnest part of living in Michigan is that basically now through September, we live outside.
Yes.
We eat breakfast outside. We read our devotions outside over a cup of coffee. We work outside on our computers and with the iced tea in the afternoon. And then we sit out at night and read with a little fire.
Yes,
it's wonderful.
It's wonderful. And we're excited that summer is finally here. I don't know how summer is where you are, because I know some of you in other parts of the country have some real heat, lots of heat, but your winter times are better than ours. So, you have that going for you. But
Let's take the good with the bad.
But yes, we want to start today with a shout out from a listener and someone who's actually been to one of our ultimate date nights that we do all across the country. And when we do a date night, people who attend get emails afterwards asking what is their greatest challenge in marriage. And this is from Mary. She says, to answer your question about our biggest challenge is very hard to talk about. Our 20-year-old daughter was in a serious car accident, which left her with a severe brain injury. In July of 2018, and we were waiting for her recovery still. We are so trying to help her and ourselves and our other boys get through this terrible time in our life. That is why we came to your show. No one knows what they can face in life until it is a reality. We are praying and waiting for our beautiful daughter to heal. Thank you for thank you for your show. We haven't laughed like that in a while. God bless you both. Folks, we just never know what people are dealing with.
We don't know their stories.
We don't know their stories. And, we don't know the stories of people who come to our date nights. We know, because life happens, that there are people in crisis and with sad realities going on in their lives. And we're just privileged and blessed to be able to help people laugh a little bit in the midst of those. And
it's clear. Scripture is clear. Laughter doeth like good medicine. And for those of you that are in a rough patch, maybe see if you can't make it to one of our shows, go to a comedy show or watch a funny movie and let that laughter release some endorphins in your life and
it doesn't take away from the hard reality of what you're living through in life, but that little bit of a break is good for your marriage, it's good for your other relationships, it's good for your children, to be able to give them something to laugh about, take them to a funny movie, give them a break from the reality that is going on in your life.
Well, today we're going to talk about the fact that there is no I in football. I know that might sound a little strange to you, but...
Duh, Jay, you spelled Football.
Look at you, you're so smart.
Ooh, that was quick.
Catch your breath. Now, I love sports. I love watching all sports, and maybe with the exception of a couple, but I really do enjoy sports. But I'm not one of those guys who can go, oh, do you remember in 1979? Da, da, da. I can't spout off statistics, but
for golf.
Every once in a while, a game sticks out, and I remember it forever. And one of those was in 1986, the national championship of NCAA football. And the reason is because it was two teams pitted against each other that could not have been more different. On the one hand, you had the number one ranked Miami Hurricanes, who were an offensive juggernaut. They were scoring 38 points a game on average. Their quarterback was Vinny Testaverde, and he was the Heisman Trophy winner, and they were real flashy. They were super, super flashy. And then on the other side, you had the Penn State Nittany Lions, who literally have white with black uniforms. I mean, they could not be more dull. And they were a Midwestern school, really had a plodding offense, just plodded along. And but when I watched the warm-ups, and I'm seeing all the Miami players, they had their names on the back of their jerseys. And, they were flashy jerseys. And then I looked at Penn State, and none of the players had their name on the back of the jersey. And I remember saying to Laura, Penn State's going to win this game because they're more of a team. And that really, that happened. Penn State won the game. I don't remember the score or any of that kind of stuff, but I do remember that Penn State won and shut down that juggernaut. My sources are telling me that the Lions won 14-10. So the Nittany Lions beat them 14-10. Now that I check my sources, but bottom line is, playing as a team will always get you further than when you play by yourself. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
So some of you are probably saying, so Jay, why are you talking about football on a marriage podcast? Well, because the point here is we want to encourage you to operate as a team. You know, in marriage, you are a team together. You're one. You know, the Bible tells us that they are no longer two, but one. And so how can we make that a reality in our marriage, that we operate as a team? And, you know, we can't say there's no I in marriage, because there is. But there is no I in team.
There's no I in love.
Yeah, you could say that. But, you know, really operating as a team, there's no, what I found interesting about this game, I remember watching it with Jay, because I remember thinking, why do these people not have names on? I want to know who they are. You know, I like to see what are their last names and all that kind of stuff when I watch sports. And I remember that it was very interesting that Penn State was quite boring looking. Yep. And you know, Jay just said they're going to win because they're going to operate as a team. There's no superstars. And you know, I know for us in our marriage, neither one of us act like a superstar, but
you act like a diva.
But and anybody who knows us knows that that's not me. That would be Jay who acts as a diva. But there's no one person that is carrying, or there shouldn't be one person in your marriage that's carrying all the load. You should operate as a team and not, you know, that's not to say there's not roles and there's not, you know, because I do the dishes because I enjoy doing dishes. When we cook. We were just talking about this last night. When we cook, I take care of all the
prep,
vegetables, the prep, getting out the tablespoon of this, the quarter cup of this, and Jay just executes cooking over the stove, the protein, the sauces and stuff. So we've kind of made
I just do that.
No, I didn't mean just, but that we've kind of made that we have those roles when we cook. And so that's what this no I in football or no I in team here is in this podcast is encouraging you as a couple to operate as a team, as one flesh, one body, one person.
And that goes back to the John 10 verses 6-8 passage where Jesus tells us that when we get married, we are no longer two, but one. And again, I
think it's Mark
10, my bad. But the reality is that our Western culture, we think of being one as the intimate act. Well, no, this is one body, one flesh, one person. We act as one entity. And when we're all on the same team, we begin to realize that, hey, we're each other's biggest fans. And there's an encouragement there, there's an uplifting there, and there's a real joy there because we know, hey, at least one person in the world loves me, you know, and most days, and wants me to succeed. But
I think sometimes we forget that in marriage, that you are each other's biggest fan. Especially, you know, if we go back to our shout out to our listener Mary, you know, especially when you're going through crisis and when hard things in life hit and reality hits, you forget that you are each other's biggest fans, and sometimes those crises bring you against each other. Well, it can bring you closer, but it can also bring you against each other. You know, the what's the word I'm looking for? The stress of life's hard knocks that come into your marriage can sometimes bring stress, whether it's you know, a child who is injured or a job loss or whatever. It does bring stress, and then
we project that on our spouse.
And we forget that we are each other's biggest fans. We're going to continue with that football sports theme as we talk about operating as a team and what this looks like. So you have to have weekly meetings. I would think that teams would have weekly meetings.
Oh yeah, they go over plays.
Yes, and
they do it in the film room.
In the film room,
so to speak.
We don't have a film room, but you maybe have a family room or a dining room or a kitchen where you can have your weekly meetings. And this is that touching base, that starting the week off. You know, we got
always
in
do
the
it on
habit of
Sunday
doing it on
nights.
Sunday nights or Monday mornings if things come up on Sunday night. But that here's what my week looks like. Here's what your week looks like. Where are we going to have dinner together? When are we going to have times to be with the kids? Just that looking towards your week, that touching base, making a plan for your week would be, and doing that together is a good way to operate as a team.
Well, and that's, most couples don't do that. And it's as simple as putting it down on in your daily planner that this is going to happen on a weekly basis so that we've got our week mapped out. We know what's coming. There were no surprises.
Otherwise, life happens and some things will come up. Oh, you didn't tell me about that. Oh, well, you didn't tell me about that. Oh, well, I didn't know we had to do that. Oh, I didn't know we had to do that.
And that's going to be more of a meeting. But even on a daily basis, you need to practice. Teams practice every day. And
daily practices.
Yes. And so that might not be as long
right.
as the meetings, but you're going to get together. You're going to say, what's going on today? How are we going to handle today? How are we going to really operate as a team?
Oh, I was talking about the weekly meetings, and then you have daily practices, not daily meetings.
No, practices.
Right. I was talking about daily practices being habits that you want to put into your marriage. One of those being a weekly meeting.
But also one of those being a daily touching base. That's right. A habit.
That's true.
We advocate 15 minutes of uninterrupted conversation. What's another practice that you think would be?
A daily habit that we put into our... for us, it's that we... And again, you would do this at your weekly meeting, that you have some time each week, whether it's dinner 3 days out of the week. This is especially important if you have kids in your house too. Sometimes I know life gets hectic with kids' activities and you kind of throw food at each other instead of sitting down and having that dinner together. So that's another daily habit I think of as a couple that you can. So the 15 minutes of uninterrupted conversation, meals together,
Kissing. That's another really good habit.
Kissing. Jay, we have a habit of in the morning when we have our coffee, if you go refill the cup of coffee for each other, then you kiss that person when you bring the coffee back. Silly things like that. When you walk out the door, before you leave, before you go anywhere, you kiss each other. Those are daily habits that we have. I had another one.
That's okay.
That I can't remember now.
Maybe if we move on to defense, because you've got to play defense in marriage.
Defense.
Because there's so much coming against you. You've got to defend your marriage. And I know for some people that's, what do you mean defend my marriage? You've got to set boundaries. If you don't set boundaries, Satan will creep in certain areas and will begin to destroy you. And he will use the strangest people to do it. Children, okay? In-laws, friends. If you don't set boundaries for the people who are closest to you, then you will not be in good shape. One of the boundaries we set for our kids was that if mommy and daddy's door is closed, you do not open it. You knock first. And then if we're dressed appropriately, we'll let you in. Just little things like that.
Right. Setting boundaries. One of the boundaries that we set too with the onslaught of devices and iPads was they go in the charger at 8:00 at night. You don't take them to your room. They go in a charger down here in the kitchen in order to keep that boundary that, you never know what people can get into on their devices and stuff.
So we're not going to tell you what boundaries you need to set because it's different for every family, but we are going to tell you that you need to set boundaries in your marriage. Clear, distinct boundaries for your kids, for your in-laws, for your friends.
So weekly meetings, daily practices, play defense, and last but not least, play offense. Looking ahead. What is looking ahead with that goal in mind, that end in mind? What is it that you want your marriage to look like in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Where do you want to be? Set some of those looking forward type goals for your play offense. Get ahead of the game, playing with the end in mind.
And you're not always going to reach those goals. For example, one of our goals was to go to Italy for our 25th wedding anniversary.
It'll be 35 this year.
We're coming up on our 35th wedding anniversary, and we haven't been to Italy yet, and we don't have plans at this point to go to Italy. But, you make those plans. Some of them come true. Some of them don't come true. But the bottom line is you're looking ahead. You're playing offense. You're projecting what could be for your marriage. Well, we're Jay and Laura LaFoon, and we are here to help busy couples stay happily married for life. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate us and share it with other people, and hopefully we can help many more people who are busy stay happily married for life.